Hello everyone, I think I found my team for the season. This is the one I'm enjoying playing the most at the moment. What we've got at the moment is Rapidash on the lead with Incinerate, Drill and Flame Charge. We've got Wigglytuff as our safe swap with Charm, Play Rough and Ice Beam. And we've got Pidgeot at the back of all things, which with Gust, Aerial Ace and Brave Bird. Gust is a legacy move. It came from the Battle Night on the 5th of November. I'm sure you all enjoyed that because you spent hours and hours playing your sets back to back. Lovely, eh? Now the core of this team really is that Rapidash isn't hard countered by a lot of things because there's not a lot of counter fire. Because there's not a lot of fire in the meta. I mean, there are a load of Marowaks, but people tend to actually go for ghost counters to deal with those. Pidgeot does very well against a load of Marowak because it resists both ground and ghost moves. So it actually provides quite a good wall to some of the key meta players. It'll also do quite well against Snorlax, for example, with lick damage being double resisted. You do still have to watch out for body slams, but they don't hit too hard. And of course you've got the Brave Bird nuke at the back, which always puts quite a lot of pressure on them to shield. Wigglytuff, I'm sure you'll run into quite a few times. It's a very sturdy Pokemon. It doesn't really care about shields with its charm damage, although you do have Play Rough and Ice Beam for some coverage. So with that in mind, I'm just going to hop into some matches and we'll see how they go. I've tried to get you some representative sets today rather than some of the steamrolls I've got because I have had a few where it's just gone crazy and I've just flattened 5 out of 5 matches. That hasn't been typical, so I wanted to give you something a bit more representative. First off, we're leading into a Snorlax. Now, Rapidash versus Snorlax, you can usually beat them to the first body slam, but actually sometimes you can also steal an extra Incinerate if you pace it right. So I'm overcharging slightly here because I'm waiting for them to go, and they haven't yet. So they took a little bit longer to charge, and in comes the body slam. It's okay, I'm going to throw a flame charge, and as you can see, rather than flame charging, I managed to sneak through an Incinerate. Still, flame charge is ready now. I've got 2 back to back. They've got 2 body slams off on me, so they have got both my shields. That's not a good place for me to be. However, I'm hoping to make that back by basically flame charging them. There we go, 2 flame charges. I'm now at plus 50% damage. And as you can see, those Incinerates really knocking chunks out of them. Incoming body slam now will probably take us out. Yeah, there we go. But we've gone equal shields, so it's not terrible. And Pidgeot can now get the farm down against this Snorlax. Going to take a body slam in return, but that's 3 gusts worth of energy built up. That's quite nice for us. There we go. And there's no shield in play. So we're almost at a Brave Bird here, so we can just Brave Bird and switch. Like that. This will do an immense amount of damage because it does that lovely 130 plus stab, of course, and there you go. Unfortunately, the timing wasn't in my favour. They are going to take us out with our debuff, but that's okay. We've taken out the threat to our Wigglytuff because that poison type is quite dangerous. And in comes a Charizard. It's not great for us. Charizard is quite potent. If we're lucky, they'll Dragon Claw us, but they'd have to be daft. They're probably going for a Blast Burn here, and sure enough, yeah, I don't think we're going to be surviving one of those. And we might just about make the Ice Beam. Oh, CMP tied on the Ice Beam. Now, if we got the Ice Beam off, that would have finished them, but it's not going to, so still against my opponent. That was close enough though, despite a not all that optimal lineup. I think that was maybe could have been one with slightly different plays. One fast move ahead on the Wigglytuff, for example, would have got me to the Ice Beam before their Dragon Claw, and I'd have won. Rapidash into Snorlax again. So we're going to play this a bit differently. We are going to get a bit more aggressive with our flame charges, and there we go. So as you can see, they got to their body slam first, and because of that, because we were tapping, we got our Incinerate through and stole some extra energy from doing it. We get to our Incinerate straight away afterwards. The first Incinerate costs 3. Sorry, the first flame charge costs 3 Incinerates. The second only costs 2, though. That's the interesting part here. So this is the place where you start to see the difference between Drill Run and Flame Charge. The first one takes 3 each, but the second one takes 2. If you've been using Drill Run, the third one also takes 2, but the Flame Charge doesn't. It takes 3. So we're basically equalising with Snorlax. They've used a superpower on us. I'm not quite sure why, but maybe they just want to debuff themselves so they got knocked out faster. We're down shields, but we have got flame charges and we have got the momentum behind us. So there we go. That's going to really hurt the Hypno and not quite take it out, but they have pushed them to use their charge move, so that's fine by me. We'll be able to bring in Pidgeot now and just farm them down because they've used all their energy. There we go. Hypno is something of a threat to Pidgeot because Ice Punch and Electric Punch are both super effective, but it's not a devastating one, it's just a bit painful. Right, so with Muck in the field, we're just going to switch quickly to a Wigglytuff. They're almost certainly going to Sludge Wave us here, that's fine. That's what we want them to do, because this will mean they use up all their energy, taking out our Wigglytuff. That's okay. Sometimes all your Pokemon can do for you is be a third shield. They've got to another one. That's going to hurt. I'm not actually quite sure how they managed that. Still, we've got 2 Aerial Aces loaded now, or to put it in other terms, Aerial Ace and a Brave Bird. So Aerial Ace goes through. We're going to drop the other Aerial Ace, and I think we're going to be in trouble here because I don't think we can make it to another Brave Bird, another charge move. However, Snorlax is pretty low. Yep, there we go. Good game. Their lick damage will be resisted by us. We hit them with neutral with the actual quite high damage from Gust, 16 plus stab. Whereas a lick from a Snorlax is only 3 damage, and it doesn't get stab on that either. So Rapidash into Snorlax again. This is sounding like a common theme. There's quite a few of those today. As before, we're just going to try the same thing. We're just going to try and steal that extra Incinerate through the body slams, and then return fire. Sorry. There we go. Flame charge time. Swirly orbs of death. I do actually like this move animation. It's part of the reason I'm enjoying playing this. The swirly fiery thing is just great. And there we go. First boost in. That's 25% damage. Second flame charge comes through after 2 Incinerates. And there we go. Wow, look at that. Taking that Snorlax apart. We're down a shield each. I'm going to double shield here, because I'm pretty sure my Incinerates are going to be able to finish it off. And I'll get yet more energy out of it. Right, so into an energy lead with a Marowak. If we're really lucky, they won't realise that I've got Drill Run, and we're just going to throw a Drill Run at them. Drill Run does actually do higher damage per energy, and they don't shield. That happens. Wow. Okay, so Hypno. We're going to go for the full sweep. Come on, we can do this. I don't think we're going to manage it, but it's going to be close. They can't really afford not to let this land. There we go. There we go. The shield's coming up. Okay, if we'd got to another one, we'd have taken it out. But still, we're 2 versus 1. I think this is in the bag for us. Hypno can't really hit Wigglytuff all that hard with anything. Its nuke move of Shadow Ball is resisted. It might have Focus Blast, I guess, but I don't think so. Focus Blast does hit for neutral against Wigglytuff because of its normal fairy type, but it is only neutral. And we're just going to simultaneously KO, but I've got a whole Pidgeot left, so it's a win for me. Right, next up, Rapidash into Hitmonchan. Now this is one I probably don't want to stay in for because I've got 2 fighting counters. So I'm going to switch to Wigglytuff. This will draw out the Marowak. That's great. Actually that gets it out of the way. Rapidash versus Marowak isn't a great matchup for us because of the spammy moves from the Marowak, Bone Club in particular. But if you can get an energy disparity and land a Drill Run, you're in a much better place. They're going to be resisting both Play Rough and Ice Beam, and I had hoped to get a shield there, but it's not to be. Still, we are chunky enough that we can eat Bone Clubs all day long, and, well, maybe not, but they're going to take us out. So, now it's low on health, we're going to bring in the Pidgeot to finish off, and build up some energy, because it doesn't really matter what charge moves they've got, they don't hurt us. So, just let them throw. There we go. You do occasionally run into Fire Blast. At that point you have a problem, and we're going back into the Rapidash. This time, against the Hitmonchan, we are taking it apart quite quickly, so we are going to shield this, because, well, it'll hurt. And it was a close combat, so it really hurt. But let's debuff their defense, so it means we get some farming in with Incinerates, and in comes the Snorlax again. Oh, this time we've got an energy lead. We're going to just lob for flame charges, build up our momentum, and I don't know why they didn't shield there. I think they probably should have done, but still. We're going to shield against them. We have got our Pidgeot in reserve, but I don't think we're going to need it today. Flame charge coming through. There's another one, building up the momentum nicely. There we go. Have to shield that one. Actually, no, thinking about it, they probably shielded because the flame charges get more powerful. So shielding the later ones is better than shielding the early ones. There we go. Didn't shield that one. They could have done, but I think they saw the writing on the wall. Good game to my opponent. And next up we're going into Rapidash into a Lickitung. Well, Lickitung is somewhat like Snorlax. It's got the lick damage, which is quite potent. It's got Stomp, sort of proxies for Body Slam. So, you know, we're going to play it more or less the same way. We're just going to throw flame charges at it, build up our momentum, and see what they bring in next. Flame charge going through, kablam. They don't shield, even better. As you can see, Incinerate is slightly more there. That's 25%, and with this flame charge it'll be plus 50%. There we go. So 50% more damage on the flame charges, so there we go. They're doing 4.5 damage per turn, I think. Body slam comes through, which we resist, which we shield. And okay, so we're down a shield, but that's okay because we've got our momentum and we've got our energy reserve. And we've got drill runs for this Alolan Muck, and it's not going to like those at all. They shield it quite sensibly, and I'm not sure we're going to make it to another one. No, we're not. Still, we've equalised the shields and we've taken out 1.5 of their Pokemon. I'm okay with that. And we're going to bring in our Pidgeot because the thing they have to fear with another Alolan Muck is a Sludge Wave on that Wigglytuff. So we don't really want to align those two if we can avoid it. This will be a Dark Pulse. Takes up a big chunk of us, but that's okay because we are quite happily nibbling away at them, and we're going to switch to a Wigglytuff just quickly. Hopefully that caught them when they threw a Dark Pulse. If not, they're going to take us out. Okay, great. So we caught the Dark Pulse instead of the Sludge Wave. Didn't do as much damage because we resist dark damage. A Kangaskhan. Okay, haven't seen one of those. I'm guessing that's Mud Slap and Parrot Punch, which is great for our Pidgeot to the back because that doesn't hurt. There we go, Parrot Punch. Big Mud Slaps coming through, but it's not going to help because we're going to get to our Play Rough and take it out. Good game to my opponent. It's quite nice to see some unusual spice in there. I've got one of those powered up because I was trying to do Parrot Punch challenge a few seasons ago. It's quite ridiculous, really. But anyway, Dugong. So water versus fire seems like it shouldn't be very good for us, but actually we're going to stay in here because it's a water ice, and that means fire does neutral, and the ice damage in return we resist. So actually they're hitting us for not very effective and we're hitting them for neutral. That's a great trade-off. And they didn't shield. We are going to shield here. Actually no, we're not going to shield. Icy Wind. This is a dangerous game to play because obviously they could be throwing water pulses and it's a bit of a gamble. But if you do resist Icy Wind and they throw one, then you get away with it. I have had a couple of occasions where they went straight for the water pulse and took me out. Oh yikes, a Victory Bell. Okay, so this is going to take us out, but look at that. Two Incinerates have just devastated that. And then obviously Pidgeot comes in and they just don't like that either. So we're going to switch quickly because I expect Mew's throwing a Wild Charge at us. And sure enough, it's a Wild Charge. Great, because it's switch locked and their defense debuffed and they didn't take the Pidgeot out. It was a ballsy play on their part, but it's not going to pay off. We're just going to let this land because even if they take out Wigglytuff, Pidgeot will have no trouble at all finishing the job. And there we go. Bird Jesus does its work. Right, next up. Rapidash into a Clefable. We like fairy leads because we resist fairy damage. So we are just going to slam the Incinerates. They go for a switch to Gyarados, and I really should have switched faster on this, but one of the downsides of Incinerate is just how slowly it goes and how much it stops you from switching. We're going to let this land. It's probably okay, Aqua Tail. So it hurts a bit, but not a huge amount. We can play this. Those waterfalls really did take a big chunk out of Rapidash, so I should have been a little bit quicker on the switch. But being locked in for 5 turns is one of the downsides of Incinerate, so just be careful with it. Aerial's going through, finishing off Gyarados. We're down a shield, but we have won back the switch advantage, which is good because when the Marowak comes out, well, as I said, we've got a good matchup with Marowak, but not when you're that low on health. We're going with Rapidash, and we're just going for a very cheeky drill run just to hope they don't shield it. Of course they do. So, they're going to take us out here. We'll shield it, and we'll hope to get to another drill run if we take out both their shields. Wigglytuff's actually in reasonably good position, but the answer is no. Okay. So now we're in the reverse situation where we've got a Charmer versus a Fire type. I don't think it's going to go well for us at all. We do have quite a bit of bulk, so we do actually have a chance to take out the Alolan Marowak. Bone Club doesn't hit very hard, and their Ghost move is likely to not hit very hard either. But I don't think we're going to make it. Not unless they've got something ridiculously squishy like a Shadow Machamp in the back. But on the off chance they do, we're going to play this out. There we go. Nibble, 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 nibble. At least we get to see what's in the back row. And it was Clefable again, of course. We already saw that, so it wouldn't be a Shadow Machamp in the first place. Either way, though, good game to my opponent. Rapidash into Dugong. As before, we stay in here and we look to build up our momentum and lob our Incinerates. And they haven't thrown yet. You can sometimes beat them to the Icy Wind. It's a bit of a tight race, and sometimes they overcharge a little bit, so it's a bit of a trade-off. And so we're going to let this one land. And this is where I realised my miscalculation in that wasn't an Icy Wind. So don't do that. That's just a bad play. Now we're in a bit of a position where Wigglytuff needs to take out Dugong because Pidgeot really doesn't want to be going head to head with it, and we don't want to blow our shields just yet. This time it is an Icy Wind, debuffing us. Okay, fair enough. That's going to push us to swap, but we have taken the Dugong out. In comes a Hypno, so we go for a switch immediately to clear the debuff, and Confusion and Gust are basically the same move, so we just trade energy here. They have almost certainly got moves that are super effective to Pidgeot. Thunder Punch or Ice Punch, either will do it, and it's very rare to see a Hypno with neither. So we're just going to move into our Aerial Aces. It's not a great move at 55 damage, but it's passable, and it's quite good for baiting shields, but it looks like they're not taking the bait today. We have to shield again as before because we're low on health and this will hurt, so we need to be able to take out Hypno, and just about takes it out. Having built up a Brave Bird and an Aerial Ace, we might be able to get both off actually, so let's go for that. Let's try the Aerial Ace first. There we go, get the shield. Let's see if they'll let the Brave Bird land. If not, we've equalised the shields, that's okay, but they've still got an Alolan Muck. Oh, there we go, so the Alolan Muck's there, we can take it out. Now, can we get this down before the Sludge Wave comes out? No, damn it. I had hoped we'd be able to get the Charm through, but not to be. I think if we'd managed that, we might have flipped the match. Rapidash versus Graveler. Now, this is an anti-fire versus a fire. This is a bad place to be. And actually Graveler does well against our Pidgeot too, so I'm not switching out. It seems a bit of a crazy play, but actually the electric damage isn't too disastrous for us, and in return we can throw drill runs, and drill runs do put a lot of pressure on because they take double super effect from the ground damage. So that's why we haven't switched yet. So it's not a great matchup for us though. As you can see, they're taking us down quite fast with the Volt Switches, and we're not hitting them as hard enough with the Incinerates. But we've got another drill run here, and it'll be just 2 more Incinerates to get another drill run through, and they let it land. I don't actually think that was a good play on their part, but they didn't know what we had in the back, so we're going to get to a Flame Charge against this Hypno. They're probably not going to shield this, I'd have thought. No, there we go. They can take us out, they can keep the shield lead. But that has made our situation a lot better now that Graveler's gone, because now the Pidgeot's now at least got a chance against whatever they've got in the back. I'm hoping we win a Alolan Marowak if we're very lucky, because Pidgeot does well against it. As I said, Focus Blast on a Wigglytuff does a lot of damage, and an Alolan Muck, yikes. Okay, so we are going to throw an Ice Beam here, because Ice Beam is neutral. Actually, Play Rough is too, but we get the Ice Beam slightly faster. Doesn't matter either way, because they're going to shield it. Thankfully, we did push them to throw their energy though, so the Dark Pulse coming through will take us out, but they've used up their energy, which means Pidgeot at least has a chance to farm this down. It's probably going to take a Dark Pulse, but I think we'll get to a Brave Bird. Dark Pulse coming through, yeah, and we are going to get that energy and get to a Brave Bird, and hopefully we'll be able to drop this on the, yeah, there we go. A Thunder Punch from the Hypno at this point would come close to taking us out. I'm not entirely sure it would entirely, but it doesn't matter. We landed our Brave Bird first. And next up we are going Rapidash into Beedrill. This is great for us. Beedrills do not like fire at all, and they don't like ground damage either. So the fact they're staying in means that they either know something we don't, or they're playing badly with shielding. Their drill run would hurt us quite a bit, and our Flame Charge is going to hurt them in return. So we're going to swap shields. It's very easy to bait here because if they I couldn't afford not to shield on the off chance that it was a bait. And there we go, take the Beedrill, and we built up the energy for another Flame Charge. In comes a Hypno, we throw the Flame Charge. So it probably means whatever they've got in the back also doesn't like fire, but it's not going to make a difference still. We bring the Wigglytuff, because Wigglytuff versus Hypno means we're not taking super effective from ice or electric, and if we're really lucky they've only got Shadow Ball. It's not too likely, but Shadow Ball we resist quite hard, and we've got plenty of bulk, so we can afford to let this land. Thunder Punch coming through, yep. Right, so Wiggly on low health, and it's a Muck. It's getting far too common. Right, so this time we're going into the Play Rough, because I realised in my last matchup the Play Rough was slightly better because it's got Stab. Doesn't matter because they shield it, and we just carry on nibbling away. They build up some energy. They're probably going for a Sludge Wave here. Actually, doesn't matter. Dark Pulse would have taken us out. Well, Acid Spray would have taken us out even. Okay, so it looks like they're Dark Pulse Acid Spray, so this is almost certainly an Acid Spray, but I'm not going to risk it. It's an Acid Spray. Right, there we go. And so whatever they throw at us is going to hurt, but we are going to get to our aerial ace first and take them out. Goodbye, Alola Muck. Right, I think that will be our lot. Yes, that was a 3 out of 5 set. The previous set was a 4 out of 5. It's been pretty representative of the sets I've been playing, and a reasonable selection of lineups here of, you know, reasonably meta things now. I hope you enjoyed that. I think this team's doing me quite well. I'd have a hard job actually analysing why it was doing me well, I have to say. I think it's down to the timing of those fast moves and stealing extras and just getting a bit of energy farming in. That's why this team's actually better than it says on paper in PvPoke. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope this has inspired you a little bit to try out something a little bit off the wall. And thanks for watching.